Can you hear me now? Do I have audio? Okay, cool. I don't know what happened. Apparently my audio cut out a little bit. It's fine. It's fine. I am feeling a miffed. We're gonna add in some sky situation. I probably could have done this sky situation just fine with my bigger brush, but we're not. Don't ask why. I have no reason. So I'm kind of just using like X-shape patterns to kind of do this sky. And I also realize that I am slightly working outside of the range of the camera a little bit. It's fine. I am not liking this so far. Maybe I'm just in a mood. Maybe that's what's going on. I don't know. I need to lighten this space over here. I need to have it be less dark. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing right now. But it's fine, but it's fine, but it's fine. I don't feel like I know what I'm doing. Cool. So during the holidays, I wasn't painting as much, and when I did, it was for presents, which is why I couldn't stream it. But now that the holidays are over, I am not painting for presents any longer, and so I can stream it. But I am now feeling completely like overwhelmed by trying to paint the things that I want to paint, and it's not super fun. Um, it is being a struggle a little bit. I need to lighten that. We're gonna just like pretend like this is snow appropriate. Okay, that is snowy-ish. Kind of. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of just very lightly, with a slightly damp brush, stroking light gray paint across this mostly dry top part. And because we are working on paper, and the paper has like grain lines to it or whatever you want to call them, it's giving this like snowy effect a little bit, which is great. Okay, I think I can work with that now. So now we're gonna add in So with this being my first like painting session of the new year, I am not overly concerned with perfection right now, so much as just the feeling, the vibe, the base concept of the thing. Which is why, like, yes, these poles could abso-fucking-lutely be straighter. And I'm not overly stressed about it, because I don't feel like they super need to be straighter. We are trying to embrace the idea that not everything has to be perfect. Right now I am just using pure black paint. So now that we have these kind of lamppost situations in, we are going to grab some more white since we are essentially out of it. And we are going to add in light on the top of our lampposts. We're gonna do this by just basically adding little like bottom heavy teardrop spherical things. Okay. I'm going to scoot you back a little bit so you can see that a little bit better. Okay. That now feels like it's coming along. And that makes me feel better. So we're going to use a little bit of white with a little bit of gray to mix up a little darkish gray color, which we're going to put on the top of our base of the lamppost. And kind of like in a almost circular shape, like it's around the base. The further back we go, the less we're going to put because we can't really see that far away. Perfect. Not perfect, but good enough. And we're going to come in with some of our, how do I want to do it? So the reference image that we're using, since I'm now feeling more confident about this, is, ignore this up here, that's us, is this snowy sidewalk image that was done by Checker Liar, who you can find on Twitch and Instagram and social media. If you're looking to probably try to see that photo, I would recommend going to his Twisted in Nature page. Because that is most likely where he will post it if he hasn't posted it already. So he took that photo sometime in the last week, in the last couple of days, while out in DC in the snow. And we're gonna work on adding in some tree branch situations. The reason I'm using a reference photo on this, let's talk about it. It's not because I don't feel like I could do this type of thing without a reference photo. It is simply because I haven't painted in a bit for just funsies, and so it is helpful to have a reference image to look at because of the fact that I haven't painted in a bit, and because of the fact that sometimes getting these lines and angles and proportions and stuff is really quite challenging. If you're an artist, you might be familiar with that. And so by having that reference image, I'm able to kind of see the lines where the sidewalk go and that kind of thing, as well as just, you know, having a nice little image to look at while I paint. It is quite nice. So we're kind of putting in a tree over here. If you think about the image that I just showed you, this tree does not exist in that photo. There are just a bunch of branches. And that's okay. Because at the end of the day, we are not copying, we are being inspired by. And that is fun. And so we basically went like right on top of that tape. I want to give this a tree branch that goes something like that. I want to do a little branch that comes through here, and this is gonna be like an actual tree a little bit further off. And it's gonna split, and it's gonna have a branch that comes like this, and we're just having fun with it. The point is not to copy the original image, but just to create something unique and our own and have fun with it. And that is what we are doing. And like if you look at the image, a big part of this right hand side of the canvas or the picture is just tree branches, with and without leaves, with and without snow, that kind of thing. So we are kind of just letting trees form as they want to and kind of just filling up this space over here. And we'll do another branch that kind of just comes across like this. And we can do a branch that comes off of this one and comes out reaching that way. You're allowed to have your branches go however you would like them to go. I tend to just like embrace the fact that my fine motor isn't great for doing tree branches and just like let my brush go where it wants to go, let my hand do what it wants to do, that kind of thing. It usually works decently well for me. It ends up typically creating some semi fairly realistic tree branches because they're not following any specific pattern or anything, they're just going. So we will come back in with some of that grayish snowy color and we'll just put a little bit at the tops of some of these branches and points. Definitely pile up a little bit in the corner there. So yeah, we're kind of just coming along these branches and just on the top side-ish area, just adding in some white, some grayish white, that is. We are not using straight white for this because that would be quite a lot. You can go off of the branch a little bit. It doesn't have to stay perfectly on the branch. Like, this snow is not, if you think about snow, it's not just like chilling directly on the branch, like it's above the branch, you know? So I'm kind of just going around along the top of the branch, not even necessarily on the branch, just almost like slightly above it. Branches that are further away, you can put less snow so it looks like less detail. those look like relatively good snowy trees. So now what we're going to do is we're going to come in and create like some wider areas, like where a footstep would be. Again, we want to kind of pay attention to the perspective here, because as they get closer to where we are looking down this roadway pathway thing, these footsteps would get larger and further apart. What we'll do to make them look a little bit more realistic is we'll come back into the center of them with our kind of grayish white color. Almost just like fill them in, give them a little bit of shadow type of dealy bopper. And now we need a person for those footsteps. So right now I'm thinking about the size of the lamppost, and to think about where our person would kind of be. Because if our person were to suddenly be larger than our lamppost, that would be a little bit concerning. We would have a giant walking through DC. So to kind of help with the footsteps, we'll add in what looks like just the barest back of a footprint around this guy's foot back here, where that foot just got put down. And then we're going to use a darker gray to make a shadow for him. The shadow doesn't have to be perfect. It can just kind of exist next to him. So now what I want to do, for the sake of Snoo, is we are going to take one of our little paint palettes, of which we have many, and I'm just going to spray some water directly into the paint palette so that we have water to work with. If you have been around before while we have done a painting stream, you might know where we're headed with this. We're going to scoop up some of that white. We're going to mix it into that water really, really well. Whoops. We're going to do exactly what I just did all over myself. We're going to use the splatter technique. So for the splatter technique, you really want to make sure that this is mixed super, super, super well. You don't want to pull it out and get clumps of paint on your brush. So we are going to just keep mixing and mixing, 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 mixing. So if I can pull it out and like not have any clumps consistently, then we're good. What we're going to do now is we are going to lean this back a little bit. And then we're going to use this very small brush, but we are going to use the handle of a larger brush. First splat, go down. After that, you can go up. And this is the kind of thing that if you are painting in your rented apartment, in a paint and not a paint studio, I highly recommend having a drop cloth, because this gets paint kind of everywhere. So first hit I do down off the painting. After that we can come up to the painting. If you want a little bit more control over it, you can do your splatters closer. You can change up your angles. You can do them further away if you want them more sporadic and random. So when I see I'm not getting any over in this area, I'm then going to come in closer to that specific area to make sure I get some in there. And I am perfectly okay with bigger and smaller splatters. If you want mostly smaller, then you will tap off more before you go up to splatter your painting itself. If you want mostly bigger, you won't tap off at the beginning, that kind of thing. It's up to you in terms of what you want. This is your painting if you are painting along. And I just went all the rest of the way down, that's fine. I am going to end up using essentially all of the splatter paint I mixed up. That loose, more watery paint. If you are painting along, splatter till you're happy. That's what I'm doing. If you want only a little bit of splatter, that's perfectly okay. If you want a lot of splatter like I do, that's okay too. But you don't have to do what I do just because it's what I'm doing. happy with it. We'll go ahead and set this back up. And take a final look. I'm really happy with that. I feel like I did much better than that. Than I originally anticipated or felt like I was. So I'm very pleased with that. Yeah, I feel happy with that. So, switching back over to me. Awesome. We did a first stream of the year. Hooray! Hopefully I will be able to get back into doing more of these in the coming weeks and such. We shall see. But keep an eye out. I usually post on social media, which my Instagram is painting on wheels, and yeah, I usually post there first. So make sure you're following me on Instagram. We'll switch back over so I can point to it. Painting underscore on underscore wheels. That's where you can find me on Instagram. And then, yeah, keep an eye out because we'll be doing more, hopefully. But have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderfully snowy week if you are having snow. And stay warm. Keep creating art.